adversity of all kinds is part of life.
I think a flourishing life is not always a uniformly happy life.
Human flourishing is the ability to be resilient and flourish even under difficult circumstances.
Productivity, disappointment, failure, success. So when you flourish, you're able to negotiate the range of experiences.
We can't flourish without adversity. The reason is because we need purpose in our lives to truly flourish. Purpose requires learning, purpose requires growth, and growth requires challenge, growth requires tension.
Grit is passion and perseverance for very long-term goals.
When I say grit, I mean working really hard at something over years, despite setbacks. And that's something that you're working toward is meaningful enough to you that you're basically pointing in the same direction as opposed to working hard on lots of different things.
There's Mr. Mandela, Mr. Nelson Mandela, a free man taking his first steps into a new South Africa.
When Madiba Nelson Mandela decided to fight, did he know it was going to take that long? But today, the apartheid system that was so egregious is no longer there. My father and my mother fought to have democracy in my country and actually died in the course of trying to ensure that Nigerians will have the right to vote. If you embrace the notion that there is no challenge that you cannot meet, then you become unstoppable. And that's a superpower.
I have an expression where I say that life will always deal you a hand, and that hand is not always good, but it's a question of how you play it out. I've experienced some of the negative things that one might have expected in that era, and being left out of study groups and people not sitting next to me in class or eating with me in the dining hall. But I loved science and math, and so nothing was going to dissuade me from learning more and doing more.
It is the nature of consequential changes in society or dreams that they take a long time to realize. That is why developing grit emerges in my research as a hallmark of high achievers, especially when it comes to their most meaningful personal goals.
One of the things that researchers find, which is really compelling, is that, the situations we face, the circumstances that befall us in life, they don't have as much of a clear impact on our well-being as we think.
When you ask somebody, tell me about the meaning in your life and when you learned it, nobody will say it was that wonderful vacation to Disneyland. Never. No, they'll talk about the time when they had a business that fell apart, when they were worried because of a disease in their life, when they had a death in the family.
There's also lots of evidence for what researchers call post-traumatic growth. This idea that you go through this traumatic circumstance and you come out stronger on the other side. You grow in terms of your resilience. And so I think that one recipe for a flourishing life involves coming up with strategies that you can use to navigate negative emotions.
Laurie Santos started the class, Psychology and the Good Life, in January.
78,000 people from more than 168 countries have enrolled.
In my course, we just go through the interventions we know empirically seem to work. Taking time for social connection, taking time to experience gratitude and to express gratitude to other people, taking time to be present, to make sure you're prioritizing healthy habits like sleep and exercise, making sure you're not feeling so time famished, subtracting things from your life, and really recognizing that your negative emotions aren't your enemies, that there are strategies that you can use to get through them.
We all need moments of happiness and peace and joy in our lives in order to sustain us through the more difficult areas. So happiness will always be present in a flourishing life, but it won't be the whole of that life's flourishing.
When we face crucibles, when we understand what we're made of, that's when we learn the most. That's when we're most fully alive.
It's not a life without negative emotions. It's one that has its ups and downs, but one in which you feel like you've grown from those challenges. They give you purpose and meaning in life.